In people's imagination, the life of an elderly person should be lively and bustling. However, as time passes, it is inevitable that one partner will leave first, and the children will be busy with their own lives. As for the elderly person themselves, being too close to their children can lead to disputes and confusion in life. Therefore, living alone is a reality that is hard to completely avoid. How to turn solitary living into a time of enjoying solitude requires starting with daily habits. Why not learn from the wisdom of cats? Solitude is a person's pure pleasure, clear and carefree. Regardless of whether there are visitors, one should keep the house clean. When a cat is alone, it will find a clean place to either sleep or sit quietly. It leisurely licks its fur with its tongue. Even in unnoticed corners, a cat will bury its waste with soil. Compared to stray dogs, stray cats are cleaner. Many stray cats, due to their cute appearance, receive feeding from people and can still live well in neighborhoods. Now look at some elderly people living alone. They think no one cares about their living conditions, so they become lazy and unkempt. When relatives come to visit occasionally, the elderly person's room is often dirty and messy, even emitting unpleasant odors, which deters visitors. In fact, maintaining cleanliness is not for others to see, but to improve one's own quality of life. Clean and tidy meals are more delicious and reassuring. In the process of washing vegetables and rinsing rice, one can feel the daily life's warmth. Clean and proper clothing makes one feel comfortable and leaves a better impression on others. Regularly cleaning the house not only consumes time, but also creates a better living space. Sitting down to watch TV or use a phone can bring a sense of blissful laziness. A bright and quiet environment leaves a good impression on the neighborhood or village, attracting people to visit. Organizing oneself is essentially sorting out one's past life, which can inject more vitality into the spirit. A refined life with neat surroundings is peaceful and prevents exhaustion. One can appear dignified alone. A tidy, elderly person is like a lone, outstanding bloom, elegant and cherished. Regardless of whether one has company, one should still go out and explore. A cat cannot be confined. Even if you lock it up, it will escape over the walls, wandering in nature. A bamboo pole or a small tree are ladders for a cat, helping it slip out of the house. Of course, a cat will not live in a cage. Only birds enjoy a cage. Many elderly people living alone stay indoors all day. If outsiders don't pay attention, they might think that a certain room is uninhabited. Perhaps the elderly person moved from a small room to a large house, or to a place with a yard for more space. But moving around is just entering a bigger cage. Essentially, there is no difference. One still needs to go outside to breathe fresh air and experience nature. Elderly people in the countryside can visit vegetable gardens alone. In the green fields, one is also a beautiful part of the scenery. Some elderly people walk along the field ridges, feeling the changes of the seasons. The rice seedlings grow taller in summer while the rice matures. In autumn, smelling the fragrance of flowers can lead to a pleasant day. Such experiences cannot be felt indoors. Even in the city, elderly people can walk in parks. Seeing children in the park can make one feel the vigor of life. Watching a group of young women live streaming in the park can make one feel the vitality of the online world. Middle-aged parents playing with their children can be seen as a blessing. Of course, remember to take your phone when going out and ensure it is fully charged. Greet familiar faces to avoid getting lost, and contact family members if needed. If interested, you can take photos to preserve beautiful scenery. Don't think that being alone means you cannot walk or feel isolated. As long as you integrate with nature, you will be embraced by it. 03 No matter who the neighbors are, learn to be kind. Gourmet Kylon has written a lot about cats. Cats will repay kindness. If you treat them well, they will bring you mice or birds in return. Cats are the most adorable, captivating people. In fact, apart from catching mice, climbing trees, and showing claws in danger, cats generally walk with their claws retracted, so they can be embraced by people. Yes, cats are always lovable. Even if a strange cat sits at someone's door, it will not be disliked. But if a strange dog is sitting there, people will be alarmed, worried it might be a rabbit or stray dog. After all, dogs are usually fiercer, and their beastly behavior is hard to change. Elderly people living alone should be as gentle as cats, making them endearing. Look at those kind elderly people. When living alone, they are invited by neighbors to meals and walks in the neighborhood. Good-hearted people will also offer help when they see any issues with the elderly. Long-term solitary elderly people who meet kind neighbors will receive a lot of care. But whether the elderly receive such care depends on their own kindness. Regardless of who the neighbors are, a greeting is always appropriate. Children should take the initiative and chat a bit. Do not adopt a high and aloof attitude or view neighbors as thieves. Remember, a close neighbor is better than a distant relative. A solitary elderly person who is friendly to others and often helps those in need will also receive good returns in their old age. This is a beautiful era, but we need to adapt to it. Biologist Darwin said, "Survival of the fittest," and the unfit are eliminated. When we transition from living with a partner and family to living alone, we must adjust ourselves in time. Don't neglect yourself just because you are alone, seeing everything in a negative light, and living a shabby life. One person is still a family. How can one not love their own home? Be like a cat, calm and clean. If you are cold, add clothes. When finished, share with others. Live well, and do not waste your remaining years. What is the solitary life of the elderly like? There is an elderly person named Zhu Jinqin, 86 years old and living alone. She opened an account on a personal social media platform to record her solitary old age life. How does she spend her solitary days? How does she discuss matters with her children? How does she view illness and death? She meticulously recorded these thoughts. This is a glimpse into the life of an 86-year-old, a future we all will eventually reach. Below is Grandma Zhu Jinqin's narrative. A day in the life of an 86-year-old living alone is like this. I chose to live alone. I have a son and a daughter. They are very filial. After my spouse passed away, they were worried that I would dwell on things in the old house and actively wanted to take me to live with them. But after considering it, my son and daughter have their own lives. If I live at my son's house, I would occupy my granddaughter's space. If I live at my daughter's house, I would disturb her routine. If I move in, everyone's living habits would be disrupted. It's better for me to live my own quiet life. Living alone. It's impossible not to feel lonely. But what can be done? I still try to find ways to make life fuller. I wake up around 6 in the morning. After waking up, I stay in bed and play with my phone. The first thing I do is open WeChat and send good morning pictures to my 300+ contacts. The people on my phone are mostly old classmates and friends. I send them pictures of flowers from my garden and some greetings. In the morning, I use my phone to edit pictures, spending tens of minutes. Some people reply, some don't. I'm not afraid of bothering others. However, there was a time when I missed a few people in my messages, and an old classmate immediately called to check on me, fearing something might have happened. People of my age understand that if active members of a classmate group suddenly stop talking for several days, one might soon receive news of their passing. This WeChat communication is also a way for elderly people to care for each other. Reporting safety daily. After breakfast and taking medicine, the next important task is inspecting the garden. I used to love raising succulents, and at one point had over 100 pots. Now with a small garden, I have even more plants: roses, peonies, cannas, hydrangeas, orange trees, camellias, and more. The garden is beautiful and can only be enjoyed with a long time. There is also a little fish pond, where fish and turtles are kept. I add water to the pond daily and clean it up. Living alone, I need to maintain a good mood and spend time in enjoyable activities. I like reading books. There is no age limit for learning. I often use my phone to read newspapers, and sometimes I read and discuss them with my friends. I also participate in group activities with old classmates. Although I rarely talk, I listen to other people's stories and feel very happy. Being a part of the group also reduces loneliness. In the evening, I write letters or diaries. Sometimes I use the phone to make video calls with my daughter. She lives in another city and often returns to visit. She is busy with work and feels sorry for not being able to stay with me. I tell her that I am fine and she doesn't need to worry. I write a diary about what I did during the day and what I saw. In the evening, I watch TV. My favorite shows are drama series. Sometimes I watch a good movie and enjoy it. The evening is quiet. The night falls, and I can sit in a chair and think about the day. To be honest, I feel that living alone is quite comfortable because I am used to it. I have my own time and space to do what I like to do. If you get used to it, you won't feel so lonely. I was a teacher when I was young, and now I'm retired. I used to read a lot of books. Now that I am older, I am not particularly interested in new knowledge, but enjoy reminiscing about the past. Old friends and old things are the most nostalgic and reassuring. Even if one lives alone, one must still be prepared for emergencies. In case of illness, one must see a doctor in time. If there are any problems, seek help from the community or neighbors. It is better to make more friends. There is no harm in being more cautious. Finally, as an old woman living alone, I have experienced a lot and accumulated more experiences. Life is very short. Cherish each day and make life more meaningful.